Good evening. Evening. Back again. Now this is a little bit later doing this live stream. Thursday evening, 10:30. Got my I do have a Pepsi here. Always good to just chill out late evening, just relax, have a drink. Whether it be alcohol, non-alcoholic, or just having a drinking having a Pepsi tonight. Um, I did actually was thinking of doing a live stream earlier on, but then I did notice that Penny Bunny had one going on, so I didn't want to kind of for there to be a conflict there because I know quite a few people who watch my stuff will go on Penny Bunny's channel. They'll sometimes be on Sean Atwood's channel looking at other stuff. I think sometimes even people will go on Andrew Gold's channel. So I was just watching how I didn't want them that to for there to be a conflict there. So I just decided to do this now. So that I suppose you could say breaking news. Perhaps there is some justice in the world that Dan Wootton has, the Mail Online has suspended Dan Wootton. So I was wanting to get into all that. With this, I'm hoping I'm not too late doing this video. Just noticed one of the guys behind one of these crypto coins I follow. He said he tweeted, "No one worth your time would treat you disrespectfully." This guy Nakamoto, his last name is. And I just said, "The world is yours. Screw the haters." Very true, though, eh? No one worth your time would treat you disrespectfully. Wise words. Yeah, well, we're gonna start singing like Lamar, right, Kata? If there's any justice in the world. I'm not gonna go any further, but hey, Lamar was okay. He had a few hits. Been a long time. You said you miss me. Du, 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 du. Step back, don't try to kiss me. Right about now, I'm 50-50. That was an all right one. I think he sampled that Jay-Z song. But yeah, so I was going to get into this stuff about Danny Boy. Just give it maybe just a few minutes to see if we can get the numbers up a little bit. I don't know, maybe there's still Penny Bunny is doing her live stream. I don't know. So I mean, how are you doing tonight, Cara? And have you been watching any stuff on YouTube and go down any rabbit holes? Have you? Or I'll get the link out on Twitter. Just one moment. Yeah, I'm doing good, Car. I can't complain. Can't complain. Just chill. I was chilling today, really. When I said just an off day for me, I was out with my dad early on, played some snooker. Not mean to brag. Don't mean to brag. I did win 3-1, but I had a good time overall. Had a drink or two, but yeah, feeling good. Hiya, Scandal. How are you, my friend? Summer Wells. Is this like this to be a true crime thing here? Summer Wells really still in the woods? Just looking it up here on YouTube. Not something I've heard about. I'm not really caught up in that true crime world, but then I know a lot of you guys follow my stuff which is all good. We have all our different tastes, but it's maybe something though I could get into a little bit. Yeah. Don't know if you guys know that guy Nakamoto. He was behind one of the big crypto coins. I think he's like a real like this guy is like properly loaded. Might have been that Shiba coin that went up like around the same time as the coin. But he liked my tweet though. He seems like one of the good guys, a straight shooter. He corresponds with Elon quite a bit. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm doing good, Scandal. Yeah, probably best sticking to painting, Cara, because it'll do your head and getting through those deep rabbit holes, people thinking that they're, detectives or forensic experts or whatever the hell, thinking they know know more than the police even, but God, I forgot even what it was. So yeah, I've sent out the link on Twitter. Usually it does get some, it does get a lot of clicks on it when it's Dan's name. Um, the stuff with Dan Wootton. So yeah, I mean, okay, so Daily Mail has suspended him. You know, they say that he's not going to be doing anything with them for the foreseeable future. You know, we could say overall, you know, this is a start. I wasn't sure then if it was going to be done. Um, but I'll give Daily Mail their due. They're at least taking action. Um, GBUs have not. Um, but that might change though. So Dan always has a show. It's 9 to 11, Monday to Thursday. So if this keeps being a story, it keeps going on and on, GBUs might decide to react and they'll, I don't know if they'll make an official thing like this is suspended him, but they'll just decide to take him off the air. Possibly that could happen. Or what I feel will happen, I don't want it to, but this will just carry on. GBUs will bury their heads in the stand and kid on as if nothing's happened. That's really, this is how it's gone. And there's all of Dan's buddies there that still go on the show and speak to him. You've even got Kwasi Karting, the former chancellor. So even he's going on the show. And you think somebody would say to these guys before they go on the show, you think they would say, are you sure you want to go on this show? Are you sure you want to be seen associated with somebody who has allegations there when it comes to catfishing, when it comes to blackmail, when it comes to bullying, when it comes to rape? I mean, one of those four you think would probably be bad enough, right? Okay, maybe the bullying one you could get past that because there's been stuff about bullying, the Dominic Raab stuff, and I'm sure he'll still have his politician buddies that'll protect him, have his back, and he'll go on and he'll be just fine. But when it comes to the stuff, when it comes to the catfishing, the blackmail, adding the bullying, and then there is still that rape allegation. I know that's not been one that Byline Times have been reporting on, and there is some doubt about whether when it comes to the credibility of that guy because he had been convicted before of extortion. So some people just they have their doubts with him. But there's so much other all these stories out there that you must think to yourself, these people are going on the show. Surely they must have a publicist or somebody that says to them, "Are you sure you want to go on? Are you sure you want to do that? With all the stuff with this guy Dan Wootton?" Because it's not like they don't know. But this must be something where it's kind of like one big kind of club. They're all kind of like enroll in similar social circles, and they're no matter what, they're going to vow to have his back. That's how I see it. That's how people can be with their friends, even if they've done something proper shitty. It's funny because a friend of mine, when it comes to somebody we know, and I suppose at one point he was actually a mate, but then we have like in the circle that we have, and people are connected. We've known each other since childhood. But I always remember this thing my friend told me about another guy, and it came down. It was to do with his two best friends. He said that this guy is like an old mate of ours. He could hypothetically kill somebody, and his two best mates would go up on the dock and they would lie for him. And that never left me that. Because that is how far some people will go to lie for their mate. And again, I don't even think these people are that close with Dan, really, let's be honest. But I think even there was the thing with Jesse Ventura when he had that thing with the guy Chris Cal about the Navy SEAL that made up the story in his book about that he had punched him. And he didn't seem like a very credible guy, but lying about stuff about how many medals he had and bragging about killing people. I think would have been all the people he shot. I think would have been Afghanistan he was in. Even when there was the looting, when there was the Katrina thing. So he wasn't a very credible guy. But then he said that basically, oh yeah, those SEALs that went up and lied for him in court, they had no problem doing that. When it comes to Navy SEALs, if you were going to die for one of your brothers, so to speak, you'd lie for them. And it seems that these people on the show, GBUs, they have no problem in a sense, lying for Dan. Because when some idiot goes on and she's like, "Oh, I hate when people make up all this shit about other people," and it's like the same people who had no problem right away talking about Phil already coming to the conclusion that he's a groomer. That's more or less what they were saying with their tweets. So all of a sudden, though, they give Dan a free pass. It's quite strange that. So these people will go as far as lying for their friend to protect them. So even when there's a rape allegation in there, there's catfishing, there's blackmail, they'll go that far. Um, so far, what do you guys think overall with this stuff though? With Dan Wootton being suspended, I mean, do you think now that GBUs will follow suit? Will they do the same, or what do you think? Just gonna get the link live Discord. Just 1 second. Okay, that's sent out now. Okay, so I'm going to get into the stuff then about Dan Wootton, about Mail Online suspending him. So just 1 second. You guys definitely hear me, right? I haven't paused or anything. You can hear me. Are we good? Just put a thumbs up. So I'll get through this stuff here. So Dan Wootton has been suspended by Mail Online after allegations emerged that he used to persuade him to secretly offer his colleagues tens of thousands of pounds in return for sexual material. Yes, we all know about that story. This came out, it was 3 minutes past 7 today, earlier on tonight. Um, so Wootton is under investigation by his former employers at Rupert Murdoch's News UK, where he worked for more than a decade as celebrity journalist. The company has hired an external law firm to investigate claims Wootton targeted current and former Sun employees with offers of money in return for explicit images. A spokesperson for DMG Media, this is the parent company of Mail Online, confirmed Wootton would not be working for them for the foreseeable future. They said, we're continuing to consider a series of allegations which Dan Wootton, who has written columns for Mail Online since 2021, as one of the several outside freelance contributors, has strenuously denied. Goes on a little bit there. That's all good, Cara, because sometimes it can go in and out, the video and microphone can be a little bit off. The allegations are obviously serious, but also complex and historic, and there's an independent investigation underway at the media group which employed him during the relevant period. In the meantime, his freelance column with Mail Online has been paused. The spokesman did not immediately clarify whether Wootton would continue to be paid by Mail Online. The journalist is running a crowdfunder to pay for his legal fees. That's not good. That hasn't gone anywhere last time I saw. I think he still needs about 112 grand. Wootton's lawyer has since told The Guardian Wootton denies many of the allegations. Interesting. Key word. Remember that word. Many allegations. He denies many of the allegations. He's not saying he denies all the allegations now. He's saying he denies many of the allegations. He denies many of the allegations that have been leveled against him by his ex-boyfriend and reporting in Byline Times. So nothing there about the rape allegation, but he's saying he denies many of the allegations. Hi, Wexford. How are you, mate? Yeah, Dan Wootton is cooked. I'm with you on that, mate. The lawyer said, for the avoidance of further doubt, our client did not at any time contact current or former colleagues at The Sun with offers of money in return for sexually explicit images. He did not engage in inappropriate behavior in the workplace. That's an easy thing to make out, like, just to flat out lie about, I guess. And he did not misuse UK funds. Right. So he's saying that he didn't. He didn't. It wasn't anything to do with current or former colleagues at The Sun with offers for money in return for sexually explicit images. Right. So I'm gonna have to go through. I'll have to at some point go through the different parts. So it'll be a lot to go through. But I don't even know if that was a particular allegation, wasn't it? Like, is this just a deflection tactic? it was like adult film stars. It didn't do. It wasn't anything when it came to money. When it with people that worked at the Sun, whether they be there or somewhere else. Wherever they work there now, or they're gone, long gone. But hi, Maureen. Good for you to join. That was not a bad that wasn't a bad live stream that Andrew did. Andrew Gold. He's one of the more kind of. I mean, I'm sure he's more left wing, but he seems a bit centrist though. Like he overall though, he can. I get what he's saying about people got to stop being so tribal. Oh, my side, left wing, right wing, kind of thing, and got to try and step outside that. But this is the main thing here. Then, so he denies many of the allegations. So I just wonder what of these allegations will he not deny? What allegations would he admit that's true? You know, so that I'm guessing that with this, he might admit that he did. There was catfishing going on, maybe that possibly. Um, and again, if this is one of the things, if Dan's going to be like, okay, I'll own up to the catfishing stuff. Will this be the thing where Dan's going to do a long ass statement that he'll put on his social media, playing the victim, saying, "I was a certain way all these years ago. It's not doesn't that behavior doesn't reflect who I am today." Rah rah rah. That might be how he tries to wriggle his way out of this. Um, but that is actually quite interesting though, because remember that part denies many of the allegations. Usually, when you hear stories like this with celebrities being accused of stuff, isn't it more often or not they deny all of the allegations? But he's just denying many of them, though. Not all of them, though. So remember that part. Um, so there's the other stuff well about. So this is now seventh part of the free. This is the Byline Times I'm looking at. Seventh part of its 3-year special investigation. Byline Times can reveal the internet data leaks that tie the TV presenter to the online aliases that he has not denied. He has not denied now. Remember this part. He is not denied being connected to. And this is probably the one that's going to be. This is the one I guess where he really they've got him on this one at least. There's one thing they can get him on, which is one thing is better than nothing, I guess, right? GBU star Dan Wootton twice used an identical password as the catfishing persuaders Martin Branning and Maria Joseph to subscribe to a movie sharing website. Presenter used the password along with the email addresses for his private web domain, danwootton.com, and also his official Use of the World account. Rest in peace, Use of the World. They were leaked and published on a publicly available data breach directory in October 2018. God, this guy's a bit of an idiot. He ended up using these fake names in his own web domain to do this bloody silly, movie sharing site, whatever the hell it is. It's like, mate, can you just not get Netflix and Amazon Prime like normal folk? Alongside Wootton's 2 email addresses revealed in a dump log of 743,280 users of the defunct film indexing service mydvd.overhere.com, where the email addresses Byline Times revealed Branning and Joseph had used a trick and bribed scores of men into sharing compromising sexual material over at least a 10-year period. Also, further analysis of the databases, which are openly available online, shows Wootton also used the same password for his LinkedIn and MySpace profiles, alongside music and fitness app sites. It looks like he's been Greg's too often, is he, Dan? Used them for fitness app sites between October 2016 and October 2018. Byline Times commissioned analysis of the data by an eminent PhD specialist in mathematical prediction modeling. The expert said the chances of Wootton's password randomly duplicating those of Joseph and Branning were 0. So it looks like they've really done their homework on this stuff. Looks like really that, Dan is he is screwed here. He's fucked. Yeah, many allegations. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Wexford. I'll be interested to see if these other guys, podcasters, and the alternative community pick that up as well. They're doing videos on this, and I won't be too braggadocious if I'm like the one guy that um sees it and calls it out. But we'd be curious to see if anyone picks up on that and mentions that. Um, I mean, you get people that are kind of wanting to believe that this is a hard left conspiracy, and I think that's kind of a dumb thing if you think that. It's not about left or right. It's just this guy. I mean, this guy's essentially using the right to try and rehabilitate his image, reinvent himself. Dan is, but it goes on. So they're saying that assuming a user can choose any 8-letter password using the 26 lowercase, 26 uppercase, and then 0 and 9, and then approximately 136 trillion passwords could be formed. If each of the 700,000 accounts is expected to have a unique password, then the probability that 3 are the same is basically zero. There's zero chance of that happening. Of all these 3 different accounts that would be, that they could have a different person behind them, and the 3 different accounts with the same password. That's what they're getting at. In the special 3-year investigation into the personal and professional conduct of 40-year-old Wootton, this newspaper has uncovered extensive evidence that he targeted journalistic colleagues, friends, family, members of the public with elaborate ruses to obtain private sexually explicit imagery. And this guy, Dan, I'll just say right off the bat, Dan did all these things. Dan did the whole, his ex-boyfriend said that he like basically broke down in tears on his knees saying, "Oh, I can't help it." But the thing is, you could help it, Dan. Doing all this stuff, Dan, you did it because you could. You did it because you got off on the power. You did it because you got off of, having some like this kind of, I suppose, leverage over other people. You enjoyed being a bully. You know, you could help it. Byline Times has revealed how Wootton, whose Mail Online column has been paused while an independent investigation is conducted by DMG Media, that's the parent company of the Mail Online, following the newspaper's reports, he rented the Facebook accounts of adult film stars so he could catfish unsuspecting victims being into the subject of covert sex videos and charged it to his employers. And how Murdoch's News UK paid off 6 employees of The Sun who Wootton forced them out of their jobs. Yeah. So, I mean, he's claiming to say that he denied inappropriate behavior. People are getting paid off, and they're saying that Wootton forced them out of their jobs. It's like, well, how are you going to claim that? I mean, basically, this was to do with Wootton's being a bully. I mean, isn't that classed as, inappropriate behavior, in the workplace? But I don't. It's a lot to go through, but basically, so yeah, Martin Brannan, faceless character, targeted men, some heterosexual and married, bribes up to 30 grand for compromising images. One gay man, carefully drawn in by Brannan, even became the object of a 10-year blackmail campaign that saw him forced to make a secret sex film of his own partner, leaving him at the brink of suicide over his actions. Though Wootton has said he denies any allegations, his representatives have not denied that he is or connected to the identities of Brannan and Joseph. They can't deny it. There's no way they're going to get out of that, trying to deny that. So, yeah, and then it goes on a little bit. So, this is the whole thing here about this data leak. There's an audit trail. But, yeah, so you say that, Maureen. I was just away to take a drink now. I just need to kind of pause for a sec. It's quite a lot to unpack there when it comes to old Danny boy. But what are your thoughts so far on all this stuff with Dan? I mean, are the walls really closing in on now? Will GBUs take action? Will they suspend them? Will they suspend them indefinitely? What do you guys think? Just one moment. So get back to this article. So the audit trail. First, Byline Times engaged in a cybersecurity professional to examine the 2 anonymous webmail addresses. which this newspaper has independently established, that was set up between May 2007, just 3 months after Wootton began working for Murdoch, June 2008 in the case of Branning, and February 2009 in the case of Maria Joseph. By running the two addresses through a special anti-cybercrime software, we discovered that he had been revealed in a leak from the mydvd.overthere.com site in October 2018. This data breach exposed the identical passwords attached to both. What do you think, though, guys? A far left conspiracy so far? It goes on. So, cyber expert who ensures online security for a number of high-profile figures said, the password was very specific, so then I reverse searched the system for breaches that contained that password. Within that search, there were several of particular interest. At least 5 further webmail addresses containing the name Wootton or a close variant turned up in the reverse search with the identical password. However, to preserve the integrity of our research, Byline Times excluded the 5 from its statistical analysis and instead focused entirely on the October 2018 DVD leak with its use of official proprietary addresses for Wootton, the most recent of which was published online in a data breach in April this year, along a smaller data set of just over 743,000 compromised user details. So there's a lot to go into this stuff here when it comes to all this data leak thing. But okay, so Byline Times investigators are also looked for other connections between Maria Joseph and Martin Branning in order to further establish the interactivity online. That yielded a new connection between the two, revealed on the open source Spokeo.com site, linking them to a further single LinkedIn account. The newspaper has further spoken to the owner of LinkedIn account, who says they have no knowledge of either Martin Branning or Maria Joseph, although they knew of Wootton from his TV and newspaper roles. One digital research into the links between Wootton, Branning, and Joseph supports a series of direct human testimonies gathered by this newspaper. They include the account of Wootton's former partner, Alex Truby, who says in 2012 he discovered a holdall containing chat records of Branning, along with a covert sex video in Branning's flat. So it is quite a lot to go in here. Hey, Geocast. Hi, mate. I saw you on the Penny Bunny stream earlier. Did you enjoy that? Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, isn't it, Wexford? And they'll still all go on and they'll suck up to one another on GBUs. You know, it's a shame because I've got time for guys like Neil Oliver, Lawrence Fox. It's kind of a sad to see. You know, I know Matt Letitia has spoke with Dan before. He was on last week, but he did it with Mark. Was it Mark Dolan, the guy that used to host Balls of Steel? I'd like to think that possibly Matt had the opportunity of going on Dan Wootton tonight, refused, heard about this stuff, and is like, no, until it's all sorted out and get to the bottom of it, I don't want to talk. I don't want to be doing anything associated with Dan. I'd like to think that was the case with Matt Letitia because he comes off as one of the good guys to me. And I think, he really got shafted from that football media punditry world. A lot of them, though, just seem to be buddy with him and, butting their heads in the sand about it, though. Julia Cass on the Pen Bun channel, but then got bored. It was okay. I was on there at some parts. I don't know, did she comment or anything to do with me? Or because what I did, Julia Cass, I sent out a post on my community page earlier, and I said I said, hey, look, I'm willing to debate you, Penny Bunny. I'll come on your stream. Hey, you could even come on mine. I know you got a different take from me on this stuff. I know X-Army Paz does as well. We could easily have a debate on here. He could come on my show unannounced. I'm not looking to get a rub off of him. He could come on unannounced. We can speak it out. I'd be interested to hear what these guys have to say. I can present the stuff I've done with my research and what I think. They can present the things they've done with their research from their take on it, their perspective. That would be interesting to me, to hear what she's got to say on this. She's saying, I noticed on one of her videos, it's like she was saying, oh, I don't buy into all this. And But then the next point though, she's saying, "Oh, let's not to come to any conclusions right now." So it's kind of like, well, what is it, Penny? What exactly is it? Your stance, you know? But Penny Bunny doesn't like that. She only collabs with Paz. I think she's had other people on her show, but I think to be fair, she probably again, I don't know. She might think I'm not good enough because I've only got 2,000 subscribers. You know, she's got 17. That might be the case. You know, but I give Paz credit. He's got 50 freaking thousand subscribers. He's corresponded with me. You know, it's not about getting the rub. You know, but you know, these are guys that done work, put the work in, done stuff on Schofield and all that, making a bit of a name for themselves on this little niche YouTube truther community, whatever you want to call it. You know, I'd be interested to have a bit of civil discourse. You know, but Penny Bunny is a Facebook Karen. You know, I like some of the stuff that she has to say. You know, I like that kind of down to earth vibe she's got. I don't mind her too much. She's not There's no maliciousness there with her, Wexford, but certain things like when she was bringing up the stuff about gaydar, and I think Simon Schofield might be gay. Stuff like that's unnecessary. And that'll be part of the reason why if she's got lawyers after her, like cease and desist on her videos on him, you know, you've got to be careful, you know. You know, I didn't want to do all that digging into Facebook, LinkedIn accounts, Instagram on those guys. You know, I saw photos online. I used them in my video. You know, I wasn't going to do too much digging though there, looking up stuff about Schofield's kids or, nothing like that. Yeah, Penny Bunny presented her evidence. That was the thing, you know. I was right then and there, Julia Cass, willing to debate her. I was willing to come on, go on our live stream and talk it out and give it from my point of view. But again, if she doesn't like doing that thing, and again, she might look at it like I need the rub, but trust me, I don't need the rub, you know. I could ask Paz to come on unannounced straight away, come on a live stream and we could talk it out. You know, he's got a different take on it, which is fine. You know, me and him are cool. We correspond a little bit here and there, but it's all good though. It's good to have this open debate. Yeah, that comment Duocast, was that to do with the whole thing about she doesn't believe that Hugh's really in hospital for mental health issues, that she thinks that's made up or something? Yeah, Paz hasn't made a name for himself though, you know what I mean? He's got people doing an AI voice of him interviewing Philip Schofield, and in the end, they do the whole, thing he says at the end and the Roger Trout. It's like, nah, that was pretty funny to be fair. So going back to the stuff about Dan Wootton. So alongside Mr. Truby, Byline Times has spoken to multiple sources who have provided solid connections between Wootton and Branning. We have heard firsthand how Wootton told a friend in moments of crisis of his activities as Branning and feared a pile-on of victims should he be exposed. And this is the thing. Dan is a smart guy. He's a very calculated guy. He was worried that this day was going to come. And I think he was so worried to the point that he realized he had to change up his image. And, I think he was changing up his image even going far back as to around 2017, 2019 time, when he was maybe slowly maybe trying to getting a bit more into politics. And maybe it was just the right place, right time for him. He was doing that talk radio stuff. COVID hit a year later, then they do the GBUs thing. But he's obviously used this to try and reinvent his image, though, to go from, a showbiz tabloid gossip trash dude to a right wing commentator. Quite a bit of a change, don't you think? But yeah, so Byline Times has gathered statements from victims and Maria Joseph who elicited critical facts on the catfish. Elicited critical facts on the catfish. When one accused Joseph directly of being Wootton, Facebook account presenting as hers immediately shut down. Another victim realized that Joseph's Facebook profile had a geolocation in New Zealand, where Dan Wootton is originally from, which he visits regularly. So there's more there. Almost. So yeah, you're saying about Penny Bunny, Lucas. She might be right. However, imagine secret life for possibly decades, and then it's all blown out into the public domain and affect their mental health for sure. Well, yeah, but then you've got to remember that Hugh Edwards has kids, and he also has a wife, like what happened to like the old school, you're a lying piece of shit. You're a lying, cheating piece of shit. What happened to that? What happened to like there actually being some accountability there? You know, everybody is automatically you just they'll you could everybody will forgive you for anything today. You know, it's really gone. We've gone that far down when it comes to like having a certain freaking moral standard. I'm not meaning to be all high and mighty, but there's just too much moral relativity in the world. In my book. But anyway, they go on. So when the victim quizzed Joseph about it, they forced an admission that the person messaging was in fact a man who continued to sexually harass them, offering them escort work if it was completely kept quiet. Joseph added in the email, this gets a bit graphic here, in 8th of June 2013, okay, I'll admit it. This is the Maria Joseph character. So, okay, I'll admit it. I'm actually a guy. Would you ever get a blowjob from a guy for good money if you knew it would be completely discreet? The victim told the newspaper, I had a connection to Dan through work. Says Dan, denying, claiming it's not people, employees. There was no other reason for Maria Joseph to target me. It was really dark behavior. Yeah. That's what I say. No other reason to target. It was just he did it because he could. 7 days ago, Byline Times presented the raw data in this article to Metropolitan Police as part of an update to a 28-page dossier on their investigation, which was made available to detectives. That was back in 20th of June 2023. Byline Times has asked a U legal representative. He's got some U legal representatives now. I guess the other ones are like, "Oh shit, nah, he's fucked. I don't want anything to do with this one." But anyway, so they've asked you legal representatives for Dan detailed questions about the passport breaches. In response, they did not deny the connection between the four accounts and appear to confirm that Wootton used the passwords for the accounts mentioned in the article. So it seems that he's going to have to, admit that he's guilty on this one, or else you really would be fucked because this would get properly exposed. Can't get out of this. And at the end, at Byline Times, we will update this article if we hear more from Wootton or his representatives. Don't know if you'll be hearing anything from them personally, but I imagine there'll probably be an 8th part in a day or two with the Byline Times. They've really been on this stuff here. Wexford, she went in hard on the partner of that woman who drowned. Right, yeah, Penny Bunny, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one with that stuff with Nicola Buoy. I didn't want to get into all the stuff with Nicola Buoy. Um, I didn't. It was just a conspiracy. I didn't want to get into that stuff. It wasn't interesting to me. And one thing I would say about the partner, though, Wexford, his reaction when he was getting interviewed, I think was it Dan Walker interviewed him on Channel 5 or something. And it was a very it was a little bit weird his reaction. And not just because it kind of looked like he was laughing a little bit, but his whole thing to like feeling like this was like the Truman Show. He felt like he was living. It was like in an episode of the Truman Show. He said something along those lines, and that seemed a very weird response. And I can remember there was a certain clip because I remember I was looking at these conspiracy things, and then they showed you a clip after, and it was a certain thing to do with Truman Show. Was it that Jim Carrey was in it or something? And but it was a little bit weird though. It was a weird reference to make, and but I'm not quite sure with that one though. To be fair, with Nicola Buoy, some people said the guy was like a hired actor or some shit, or a friend of hers is a hired actor. Was something to do with GoFundMe? There were people questioning about that or something, or I don't know though. Yeah, yeah, this stuff is very interesting, Paz. Yeah, no doubt. Um, I know you've got your own take on it, and I wouldn't doubt that certain people have an axe to grind when it comes to Dan Wootton. People who are, tweeting about this a lot. The Cat of Ordemans of the world. They have it in for Dan Wootton. There's a bit of an agenda there, no doubt. But I feel with this, and I posted it was my community post earlier. I still don't put this down to a hard left conspiracy. I still put this down to just a couple people, two different people tweeted at different times. It picked up some steam, it gained momentum, and then it became a big story. And yes, I mean the idea that's a hard left, there's an agenda there, hard left agenda, whatever. And then Dan's making it a thing that they're trying to destroy him financially. And he has to make it a point to put it at the start of his thing on the crowdfunder. And then obviously because he's wanting your money, and I don't think he's been getting much more. He still needs about 112 grand. But yeah, thought provoking. Very, yeah. I probably have to watch more of her stuff, but I appreciated the stuff she did on Philip Schofield though. He is hated in the journalistic world, Dan Wootton. Even people in his little harem didn't really seem to like him. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hear the stories, Julia Cass, right? That people have been unfriending Dan from Facebook, deleting pictures of Dan. So a lot of people are wanting to, distance themselves from him, but it seems that all of his buddies at GBUs are all there. They're all there for him. I'm talking all of them. I'm talking Nigel Farage. I'm talking about Neil Oliver. I'm talking about Lawrence Fox. Um, they're all there. No one seems to be wanting to distance themselves from Dan. Which you think with all that stuff going on right now, you'd maybe think, I don't know if I want to be seen on the same program as this guy. The former bloody chancellor of the country, Kwasi Karting, is on Dan Wootton tonight. You know? Yeah, I mean, Dan Wootton, the thing is about the interest in Dan Wootton, though, he was seen, I think he was kind of seen and made out to be, he was pictured like he was the front man of GBUs. And, you know, I watched some of his shows, and to give the devil his due, he did come off very convincing. He did come off like he used stuff about politics. He understood about Scottish politics, how much of a wrong in Sturgeon was. So that may be part of that part. That's probably part of what kind of sucked me into him initially. But it goes back to probably the stuff with Schofield when I started to think, um, nah, I can't overlook that hypocrisy when it comes to that. There'll be, but I won't be donating to any of this crowdfunding personally. I still have doubts about that, even that Byline Times one. I mean, they might be still later on will want to ask for more money. I'd be very suspicious of people who do these GoFundMe things. That's all. It's something good if you're doing a Patreon and you want to give people exclusive content. They pay a little bit more. It's business. It's capitalism, right? I wouldn't just write people off like that as grifters or shills or all these other buzzwords people use these days. But John Moyer. Is John Moyer the one that works for the Daily Mail, Cass? John Moyer, that name rings a bell. All right. Did she have the controversy though about when she did the one that did the article on Stephen Gately after he died? Was that the one? The name certainly rings a bell though. Right, right. She might have crossed the line though when it came to that stuff with Gately, the way. But again, different time. It was 2009. She probably wouldn't get away with it today, though. I imagine. But just Yeah, that's part a lot of part of it as well, the tone as well, yeah. But I mean, the thing is with the stuff with Dan though, I give Daily Mail their credit, Daily Mail took action and they decided, "That's it, no, no, sorry, gotta suspend you." They did something at least, and Daily Mail were the first ones to report on that stuff to do with Schofield and the whole thing about the alleged rumor about the young guy they're not allowed to name, I guess, but you know who. Byline Times have a mix of both center left and center right journalists. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, Wexford. I mean, some people were trying to claim that Byline Times of they're like these pro climate change guys. I think it was because something about they were apparently maybe exposing certain people on the right who are climate deniers. I mean, I feel there's an agenda there. Like, there's definitely an agenda when it comes to climate change. They want to make it out like it's worse than it is. I'm not saying that there isn't a problem there when it comes to climate change, but the people definitely have an agenda there to scare you. It's about fear mongering, and that's what they've all done it in their own way. All the main players that they put out there, so to speak. Al Gore, Leonardo DiCaprio, Greta Thunberg. They all do that shit, and I mean it's definitely an agenda. But I'm not saying there isn't issues there when it comes to climate change. I think where they go wrong is if they just had like a regular average Joe guy that works a regular job, wife, kids. If he was to come out and speak and do these things about issues, problems, dangers of climate change, I think people then would listen. But I think they now, like when you get in people like Al Gore and Leonardo DiCaprio who do it, blatant hypocrites with their $1 million mansions and all the private jets they go on, and Greta Thunberg as well, who they thought, oh, let's have a young girl out there. No one's going to attack a young girl, criticize a young girl. That was their agenda, and I feel bad for her because she probably really does believe there is an issue there with climate change, but she's being used as a puppet. But if they just had average, regular people come out there and speak about it, maybe people would be more receptive to it, though, and not say it maybe write it off totally as a conspiracy theory, just an idea. But oh, did she predict Amy Winehouse? Did she predict that was coming? Would that have been what 2, 3, 4 years before, or it's all old? It's all old news, Julie Cass. It's all old news, and it's funny how you know what I mean. It's just funny how much of us about 5 weeks that story with Schofield. I feel like a broken record. I keep saying it, but that was such like a thing in news for so long though, So it was so freaking long that story went on for. Just one moment. Matthew was reportedly holed up in Phil's mum's house. Where did you read that from? Haven't heard that. Uh, US Post and also from a friend in Cornwall. Interesting. Right. Funny how that's not come out though on Twitter or anything like that. Matthew Bailey. I'm just looking at stuff. I was just Googling it, and a website called sickchirps.com. There's all those photos there of Phil when he was pictured with his mum, which was blatant PR, you know what I mean? Make us feel sorry for him. They say, though, in truth, no one knows for sure whether Schofield and his team staged the photo, as he's currently the most watched and most photographed man in the UK. He had to have known there's no way a public meeting with his mum would go unnoticed or unphotographed. Should that be held against him just because he wants to sit on a bench next to his mum? Maybe we're being too cynical. Yeah, I could imagine that was a photo op. Yeah, no doubt. So I mean, it doesn't have to be all this stuff about Phillips. Sorry, Dan Wootton. Any other comments and other things, guys? Any of you, anybody else? Did you watch the any of the Andrew Gold live streams? Have you been checking him out? I don't know if you're still on, Paz. I noticed you posted a tweet of Ash Sarkar's. Ash, I'm literally a communist Sarkar. Good grief. What a clown, though. What a clown she is. Andrew Gold. Yeah, I like Andrew Gold Wexford. Yeah. I can appreciate like a guy like Andrew Gold who seems to be more of a leftist. He admits he's more of on the left wing, but he can still be quite critical of. He's not afraid to talk about this stuff when it comes to Hugh Edwards, Schofield. He's criticized Meghan Markle before. I know he does a lot of videos on her. I think I first Andrew Gold when he did a video on Meghan. It was him and that psychologist guy Richard Grannon, and they spoke about Meghan. But what they were saying, I was kind of like on the same wavelength as those guys. But I mean, I don't claim to be like a psychologist journalist type. Those dudes are a bit more, probably a bit more articulate than I am. But those are good guys, though. Overall, they do good stuff. Novra Media, yeah, Julie Cass, I see Novra Media pop up a lot on my feed. That's maybe one I could check out. Like even like I'll watch videos on the Young Turks. I'll watch videos on Secular Talk. I'll watch the is it Majority Report, Sam Cedar. Most of their stuff is just them shitting on what people on the right are saying. They're watching Infowars, they're watching stuff from DeSantis, and then they slag it off. But I've still got time for these guys though, and sometimes there's certain points they make I can agree with. Other times it's just good, just a bit of a laugh. But Michael Walker, haven't heard Michael Walker before. Michael Walker, let me look him up. Michael Walker. Michael Walker. So he's been on GBUs before. I see that. There's a Nova Media. They've been slagging him off though. Have someone against them. I would fund the NHS by taxing the rich more. Well, no doubt. I mean, the rich should pay a little bit more tax, and you know, I mean, and it was interesting with the COVID stuff because when RFK Jr. I almost said JFK there. RFK Jr. was speaking about how after when COVID with COVID, the rich got richer. There was US billionaire every day. And initially, when I saw that, I was thinking, I don't know, would there have really been that many a day? So when all the stuff COVID went on with lockdowns, we're talking what? So you're talking about almost what 400 to what 700 billionaires overall from COVID. But when you look at the figures though, from 2020, from 2020 there was about 2,000 billionaires, and then in 2021, a year after with COVID, there was 2,655 billionaires around that roughly. So there were much more billionaires. The rich got richer. That's how it always works. The rich get richer, the poorer get poorer. That's how it all. That's just the game, isn't it? It's a shit game. It's a BS game, but that's just how it goes, isn't it? But the Wootton story is not about politics. It's about devious actions that have taken place. Yeah, absolutely, Wexford. I mean, I would say I'm more kind of conservative, right wing, but I'm calling Wootton out on his bullshit. And there's not many people in the alternative media community doing that. Sonia Polton's one. Gareth Ike's tweeted about it before, so maybe two. But there's not many other people who would say that, right wingers who are calling this shit out. I only see like one or two people when it comes to Andrew Tate, more of a, I suppose, American thing. Well, I suppose actually British because he's British. He was raised in Britain for the most part. He has an English accent, but you'll maybe get a couple of conservative podcasters who call Tate out on his bullshit. Michael Walker had an affair with Owen Jones. Yeah, things are it's tough, is it? Cost of living, so unforgiving. Shit's just beginning. I said it last year. I've never heard of this guy before, though, Michael Walker, but I'll maybe check out one of his videos another time. So he had a debate with Jacob Rees-Mogg a few months ago on GBUs. Ah, right. Let's see what's going on then. Any more other news in the world? I get the feeling people probably think I talk about Dan Wootton too much, but it is a big thing. It is a big. I mean, it's not maybe like Schofield level. Mainstream media haven't really been reporting on it much, but it's still pretty big story to me. Donny boy Donald Trump. He says he's being persecuted for leading in the polls. Says Washington is covered in filth, decay, and broken buildings after he pleaded not guilty to trying to overturn the election. Well, it's definitely a political agenda there with Donald Trump, I would say, whether he's guilty, not guilty. You know, this is, this has been done for many reasons. One of the main reasons I would say is to get the focus off the stuff with the president's son, Hunter Biden, all that stuff, the Hunter Biden, the laptop. So this is why they're coming for Trump, trying to get him on anything they can. But again, if he ended up president, what, next year in November, honestly, wouldn't surprise me though. Would not surprise me. You saying Donald Trump's as bad as the horrendous part-time van driver, Julie Cass? Are you referring to somebody else, or so 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 someone posted here, so many conservatives are waking up, learning more and turning against Andrew Tate. My faith in humanity is not dead. Sean Strickland. Andrew Tate is the definition of a piece of shit, literal human embodiment of a bag of shit. Y'all need to stop looking up to this human piece of shit. Yeah. My sentiments exactly. Jacob Rees-Mogg, JRM. Sorry, that went over my head, Julia Cass. Right, Jacob Rees-Mogg, you're talking about. Right. One moment. Let me drink my Pepsi. Sticking with Pepsi these days. I'm not touching Diet Coke after all that stuff I heard about Diet Coke potentially cause cancer, you know. Me. These bloody softball interviews and softball questions these people on the right give Andrew Tate. Smart, he befriended these people, Candace Owens, Tommy Robinson, Paul Joseph Watson. He knew if anything was ever to happen to him, he'd have people there coming to his aid, would have his back. No, I know. I'm a sucker though I'm a bit of a sucker for soft drinks, to be fair. Sometimes I'm guilty of probably having one a day. Sometimes there's even days I could have two. Probably no more than usually three. I'm not like Trump though, drinking buddy 6 Diet Cokes a day though, nothing like that. But so I wonder if Dan, I wonder if Meghan Markle's half sister will still speak to Dan Wootton, Samantha Markle. You see her an awful lot, an awful lot in GBUs. Some Photoshop of Dan Wootton with Jimmy Savile with the hair and the cigar. Apparently, Dan Wootton's actually had to get a lawyer who he actually had to step down because of bullying allegations. Gee. Yeah, I know that. Fawning tweets. Yeah, I like sparkling water, Julia Cass. I probably should drink that more. I know I should. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, she's got a PR team who I'm sure she pays very well. I heard that stuff was last week about they're no longer friends, are they, Meghan and Harry, with David and Victoria Beckham? They felt that they were selling stories to the press about them. I don't know if do they really need to do that though. But then again, Rebecca Vardy did it with Colleen Rooney, so I guess does she really need to do it with her? But I just think at the end of the day, you know what it was with Harry and Meghan, that it wasn't good enough that let's say maybe Victoria and David were a neutral party, but then again they probably weren't neutral. They probably were more close to the Queen, Charles, uh, William, and Kate. David, he was quite close relationship with the Queen, right? I mean, he queued outside for 12 hours to see her body. Um, but uh, I think at the end of the day, Harry and Meghan, it's pretty much it's you're on our side or you're not, you're against us. That's how I see it. That's what I think probably happened here. You know, either on Team Harry and Meghan or your Team Royal. Yeah, it's the same old bullshit, Julia Cass. I know. Yeah, it's just that they so seriously, and Megan's been found out. Megan didn't care about wanting to change the world. Megan just wanted to be, date a guy with status and who had money. That's really what it was. Let's be honest, and have the finer things in life. I think if she had been more upfront about it, people wouldn't care so much. But it's just like the bullshit act. That's what people can't stand. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably felt that they were duped. That they at least thought Megan seemed like a nice person at first and seemed very pleasant. Hi, Ian. How are you? You doing good? But yeah, I'm no fan of Meghan Markle though, Julia Cass. Dan Wootton has been dropped. You legal representatives. So apparently, Byline Times though they've raised 54 grand, and Dan Wootton's only raised 38 grand though. She just treats her family like shit, Julia Cass. Just the stuff about Samantha, her half sister. I don't know you. I don't know your middle name. Like so dismissive of her. Just like a bullshitter, and she's just such a bullshitter and a liar, isn't she? Go on. I need to work on that rap a bit more, mate. I think that it was going to be to a Kanye West beat, Ian. So the Kanye West beat will be what I work on. Just need to get out of the writer's block mode and come up with some good shit. Yeah, I don't like her. Never really thought anything of her from when I initially heard about her. There was, it wasn't even until about 2018 time the whole thing about her being mixed race, and I never would have known. She always looked Caucasian to me. Apologize. Hi, David. It's very early Kanye, Ian. It's a call apologize. Yeah, mate. I had a Google laptop, and then there's issues with it there, mate. I know I need a new camera. This is like an old freaking Dell 200 quid refurbished laptop. I'm gonna get sorted though with soon get a better camera. Yeah, it's Kanye West apologize. I can actually send you the beat. Let me know what you think. This is early Kanye, even before the first album, before Buddy Slow Jams, Through the Wire, all that good stuff. Um, where are we? That's the beat there. I'll leave the link there. That's the Kanye West beat. I'm gonna do a rap with it. Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying, Ian, and it's cool. That's just constructive criticism. And there's other opportunities there to link up with other content creators, maybe get out studio, do things like properly in a professional manner. Could interview people like certain, maybe some people with a little bit of celebrity, reach out to people. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and it's ultimately it comes up to you. It's up to you, the individual, what you do. That's the thing. That's just the free market world we're in. And obviously up to you what you do when it comes to this. This YouTube game. So who are you speaking about, Duocast? Are you talking Harry? You didn't get along with Prince Harry. Surely you never met Harry, right? I forgot who we were speaking about. Or are we now on Kanye West now? When you saw him, you didn't like Kanye. Oh, Kanye. Well, you're one of the few people, Joeycast, that says you can say you met Kanye West. Not very many people could say that. I see Jim Davidson's trending. I take it he's probably been on GBUs, has he? Yeah, it was Jim Davidson. We've had enough of this woke and cancel culture. Yeah, true, true. That's a Pepsi Max, Ian, mate. I was saying earlier, I'm not going to drink Diet Health organization saying there's a risk there, a link with Diet Coke. I'm sticking Pepsi from now on. Yeah, I mean, he's told the story before. I think, did you almost bump into him in a hall? Kind of bumped into him in a hallway, right, Joey Cass? I mean, Jim Davidson was funny at one point, Joey Cass. Big Break. I like Big Break as a kid. God, Ariana Grande and Ethan Slade double dates with spouses while carrying on romance. God, that's pretty scummy. Heard that she got wet. What the fuck? I'm not good with freestyling, David. Always would be there, but you didn't really care. You were just so unaware. Da, 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 da. Freestyling in my game, I really got to write it down and perfect my craft. But, mm. And imagine, Joey Cass, you never would have thought in your wildest dreams, about 16 years later, he would be on Alex Jones' Infowars saying he loves Hitler, eh? Mm. Michael Barrymore was actually on This Morning. They called it a car crash interview. He was slurring his words. Gee, I didn't realize he's so old. So he's getting on now, 71. Gee. Sad. Reside in Scotland, Ian. Nah, I'm not going to say, mate. I thought you knew. I mean, you know what football team I support, right? But okay, so there's only about 3 people in the chat left. So okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Call this a night. I might be back tomorrow. Another live stream. I'll see how things go. Could always do a little bit of a listen to some, like house music, dance, stuff like that. Maybe. Nah, nothing but love, and I appreciate that, bro. But But I'm just going to call it a night, leave it for now. But I think I'll probably be back tomorrow, maybe around 8ish, Ian, see how things go. But wait for the cheap Potterson. Well, he ended up resorting to, he was doing theatre work in the end, local stuff here, but I'm just going to call this for a night though, but call it a night for now. I might be back tomorrow around 8 o'clock, do a live stream then, maybe listen to some tunes, see how it goes. I'm sure you do, David. I love you too, pal. But just going to call it a night for now, wrap this up. So thanks very much, guys, for joining me tonight. See ya. Bye.